Entertainment. No, it's not the most tangible of American staples, but just try and imagine our country without it. No, neither can I. It's too essential to not only our economy, but to our nature as human beings. But all the entertainment that we so often take for granted doesn't come easy. It takes strict discipline,
Good. That was good.
feats of engineering,
This gap is way too excessive.
and more often than not, some serious patience
They must have had some party in here.
to keep Americans like you entertained. A wise man once said, "The world is a stage, and the stage is a world of entertainment." He was right, you know, because in America alone, entertainment is a $600 billion a year industry. That's more than the gross domestic product of Sweden. Why so high? Because we're also responsible for creating a full third of the entertainment enjoyed around the globe, from sports to music to cinema. But in 2020, as you may have noticed, a little virus called COVID-19 knocked that industry for a serious loop. Stadiums sat empty, sound stages lay silent, and concerts canceled by the thousand as the entertainers of our nation felt powerless to provide our favorite diversions, perhaps at a time when we needed them most. It was a startling glimpse of what our country might look like without this all-important industry. But mercifully, things are starting to look up. As mandates lift across the nation, so too are the great pillars of amusement coming back to life. And nowhere more so than the city that entertainment built, Las Vegas. This year, more than 40 million tourists are expected to come through, bringing the money that's critical to Sin City's very existence. So, all across the Strip, resorts are racing to prepare for the kind of crowds they haven't seen since before the pandemic. Resorts like Circus Circus. Here at one of the city's oldest and most iconic casinos, the worst of the plague reduced capacity and business to a mere 25% of its former glory. But today, they're ramping the entire operation back up to 100%. From gaming floors to family arcades to live entertainment. Even their very own theme park, the Adventure Dome. That's where this morning we find ride engineer Joey Rukavina making his rounds, about 90 feet in the air, on the tracks of the El Loco roller coaster.
I'm checking the track for structural integrity and all the mounting hardware to make sure everything's tight and in good, safe condition.
Across the country, more than 700 roller coasters like this one are ramping back up to full capacity. And before they do, it's up to guys like Joey to make sure that they're fit for all that usage. So, before opening to the public, part of his job is personally ensuring that each and every one of this ride's 5,000 bolts is securely fastened to the track. Fortunately, he has a visual aid.
So that is the torque stripe. So when the connection's made, you put your torque wrench on it, you tighten it to the specified torque, and then once it's torqued, you make this little line right here. So if this bolt were to come loose, that line would not line up, then you know you have to check it.
So far, so good, but there's still another 50 yards of track to inspect before the ride can safely be opened.
Something that I've done for a long time, I'm comfortable with it, but there is danger involved. You could slip and fall and, you know, hit something on the way down. So you have to be very focused. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. Whoa! So everything is in good condition. There are no discrepancies in any of the welds or the connections. Everything looks tight. We're safe for the public. Nice morning climb, invigorating.
But Joey's morning roller coaster rounds still aren't quite finished. He also needs to check the equipment that runs on the tracks.
We have to QC the car, which is a quality control check. So the car sits on the rails, and these wheels right here hold it side to side. These wheels right here hold it up and down. So now I'm just gonna give this a quick once over.
Joey's QC check basically boils down to ensuring that the wheels holding the car to the track are not too tight and not too loose, because either scenario could quickly turn an afternoon of wholesome entertainment into disaster.
That's good. That's good. Up. Oh, that's no good.
Theme parks aren't the only pastime reopening to the American public. So too is one of our nation's favorite vices, gambling. You know, the offline kind. And wouldn't you know it, Circus Circus has that too. They're bringing back all 100,000 feet of their gaming space, complete with blackjack, roulette, craps, and of course, slot machines. And keeping those machines lit up is the full-time job of senior slot technician Steve Hopper.
Ever since they started lifting the restrictions, we've been daily getting busier and busier. You never know what you're going to get. Every day brings a new experience.
For Steve, that experience has mostly to do with making sure the casino's 1,000 slot machines, now all back online, are well looked after. And that kicks off behind the scenes in the somewhat less glitzy slot department office.
This is kind of our starting point after we come in and clock in the morning, and we come over here and get our tools on and get ready to work. Then we come over to our printer over here and we look for work orders. And this one happens to be for a possible bill validator situation over on bank 718. That means I gotta get out there on the floor, check it out, and see what we can find.
Though Circus Circus still keeps coin-operated machines on site, the majority of slots here these days are higher tech. And as we all know, more bells and whistles also means more that can go wrong.
Well, it says we got a device offline right now. So let's, and it's showing a bill validator error. A bill validator is the device inside the machine here that accepts your cash and accepts your tickets. And for the most part, without that, it doesn't work. So we'll have to run this over to the ET shop for repair so we can get this game back up and play.
While Steve works to keep his gamblers gaming, several floors up, another team of Circus Circus employees are just starting their shift. Because fully reopening the resort today also means making sure that all of its hotel rooms are ready for inbound customers. And while it's the job of nearly 300 guest room attendants, or GRAs, to clean those rooms, none of it would be possible without housekeeping runners like Crystal Ruezga, who provide those workers with critical support.
You really don't know what you're going to walk into from day to day. So one day you could walk in and have no service calls at all. And service calls is the ones where the guests call for towel, shampoo, lotion, that kind of thing. So that's what my job is for the day, and to check on my hallways, locker rooms, stairwells. It's going to be a busy day.
When she's not making hospitality runs or helping out the cleaning staff, Crystal also maintains all common areas in the hotel.
So what I'm doing at this moment is I'm vacuuming my guest areas by the elevator. It's very important that we keep this area clean because this is the first impression after they check into the hotel. So if this area isn't clean, then they might get the impression that the room's not going to be very clean either.
Crystal, row 27737, need 3 sets of towels. 27737, need 3 sets of towels. Copy, Crystal?
Copy, Mike. 27737. I just received a service call on my device for a room that the guests are looking for towels. So right now, I got to go down to the 27th floor.
At Circus Circus, housekeepers like Crystal tend to a whopping 4,000 guest rooms. And as all those rooms return to 100% capacity, service calls like these are growing more and more frequent, which is what Crystal and her colleagues might call a good problem.
Housekeeping. Hi, you called for some towels.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. I also brought you a couple extra things that you might need.
Thank
Toilet
you.
paper, shampoo, and that kind of
Thank
thing.
you.
Anything else? Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
Hospitality run finished, Crystal can now get back to vacuuming.
The trash room, 26714. Trash room, copy.
Or not.
Copy that, Maricela. 26714. Trash room.
The phrase trashed room is a fairly common one in this line of work, but always a little daunting. It's code for a room that is in worse than usual condition, and it's Crystal's job to do the heaviest cleaning first.
Housekeeping. Housekeeping, room check, housekeeping, hello, housekeeping.